All right, good evening, everybody. I'm recording tonight's class. This is Monday, March 24th. We're going to go over one of last week's exercises. This is Texas measles vocab. Lamarana, are you ready, my friend?
Yeah, I'm ready, teacher.
Okay, and you may click start whenever you're ready. Go ahead. If you know the answer, help them out.
Blindness.
Can you move, please? We have
To spell it.
please, sorry,
BL?
wait. You are so hard. Wait. We have a dark band on the text.
Yep. Hang on 1 second.
Got it.
Okay, I
Yeah.
had to let a student in from the waiting room. Okay, go ahead. The condition of being unable to see. All right, give me
Blindness.
Blind.
Blind.
Blindness.
There you go, blindness. Good work, good work. That was Lamadana typing. My hands are off the keyboard. Go ahead, Lamadana,
Yes.
keep going.
Okay. Group of people who live in the same area.
Communities.
Community.
C.
O M M
Good.
U N I
T.
E S.
TIES, correct. Good job.
Problem of difficulties.
Complication. T
Person who speak out against something.
Critic.
CRAITIC.
Gone down, decreased.
Decline.
Decline.
Good work, everybody. Help them out with the spelling. Decline,
Is it I
decline.
or E?
DE.
That's not DI. That's right, DEC.
DLYNED.
Keep at it, everybody. Good.
Government leaders will make rules about disease prevention and medicine.
Health officials. Health officials.
HEALTH.
Okay.
H.
HE.
Teacher, I think I'm not able to write. I don't know why.
It's
Okay.
a capital H. Now keep going.
Okay.
E A
All right, I just did the first three letters. Keep going, Lamadana.
I don't know why, but
Oh wait, it says waiting for Lamadana to control the train. Hold on a second. I gotta make sure.
hold on.
Okay, let me stop and restart the remote access.
Yeah.
You lost remote access. I'm gonna give it back to you. Here we go. Lamadana. Okay, try now.
Okay.
LTH.
Something
Press the
happened.
H key. It should click.
Yeah, same thing happened.
I think there you go.
Okay, perfect.
Good job.
So we
OFFICIALS.
Good work.
you guys are wonderful.
Work together, becoming larger.
Increase.
Okay.
Capital I.
T
A S
E D.
Increased.
Giving disease or illness.
Infected.
ED.
Nice job.
Children typically
Kindergarteners.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarteners.
let's read the definition first.
Capital K. Capital K.
And
K I N
kinder,
E R
G.
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 G
G. A.
A.
N.
R.
R T
E.
T.
N.
E.
N.
yes
N.
N.
N E
E.
R
R.
R
E. S.
R. S.
S.
in all part of the
Nation.
country.
Nationwide.
Nationwide.
Nationwide. N A
T
T O N W I D E.
Many
outbreak
people in a
outbreak
particular area catching
outbreak
the same sickness.
Outbreak.
O U T B R
Outbreak. There you go. Good job.
A serious disease of a
pneumonia
lung.
Pneumonia.
P N
Let's read the definition
U
first.
M.
Right.
O.
M.
M. O.
M.
M.
N
N.
I
I. A.
A.
Guys, let's read the definition first, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stopping or keeping
Stopping or
something
keeping
something
something
from
from
happening.
happening.
Preventing.
Preventing.
suggested or
Suggested
Or
or
advised.
advised.
Recommended.
Recommended.
E C O M M
Uh-huh.
E N D E D.
Good job, everybody. Good job. All right. Working together. Nice job to begin class. Okay, Lamarana, I'm going to
okay,
take back control of the screen here.
perfect.
Well done. All right. Okay, stop moving the mouse, please. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. And there we go. So that was Friday's exercise. Looks like everybody really studied that vocabulary. Very well done. And now let's take a look at what's next. So on the agenda, we went over the anagram exercise, and that was from the assignment I gave everyone from Wednesday. It was Friday's assignment, but it was from Wednesday's reading. Now I'm going to introduce a new set of vocabulary for a story titled The Invisible Enemy, which I gave to everyone, everybody in the Google Classroom stream. You know what? I think I'm gonna change these two. So I actually had a short video to watch after the reading. I'm gonna switch them. Let's do the short video before the reading, and then we'll read. So here we are. Okay. This will be a listening exercise. For a brief period, I'll stop recording just for the listening exercise. So everybody, please take out a pencil and paper and write down these 3 questions. You can give me a thumbs up emoji when you are ready. So the questions are on the right-hand side. So make sure you've got a pencil and paper, something to write with. I'll take a look at the video panel. Okay, see McLaren has a pen and paper ready. Good, good, good. Irina is ready. Marie is ready. Jeanville looks ready to go. Helenice, Felipe looks ready to go. Okay, so for this exercise, it's a very, very short video, but I'm going to give you 3 questions that are answered within the video as a listening exercise. The first question, can I get one volunteer to read? Just one.
What were some of the long-lasting effects of a smallpox?
Fabulous, Herbert. And by the way, Herbert, when La Marana took control of my screen, I tried to take care of the issue you were having. And I think I'm going to have to email the tech person for NGen. So don't worry, I didn't forget about you.
I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. All right. So the question is, what were some of the long-lasting effects of smallpox? Good job. All right. Do we have a volunteer to read the second question? Marie, go for it.
What was Edward Jenner's theory?
Very good. What was Edward Jenner's theory? That'll be question number 2. I'll number them. I didn't do that. Question number 1, question number 2. Very good. All right. Thank you, Marie. Do we have a volunteer to read the third question?
What was a major breakthrough in 1980?
Very good. The major breakthrough in 1980. So 45 years ago, there was a major breakthrough. All right. Does everybody know what this might be a new word? What does it mean, a breakthrough? It's a bit of a colloquial phrase. We say it a lot in America.
Is it what was going to happen?
Pretty much, it means like something new has happened.
Okay.
It's like people are trying to do something and then, aha, something works.
I can say
Like COVID-19?
Well, not in 1980.
No, like I said.
Well, a breakthrough is generally
maybe
used as
a
something-
barrier, maybe a barrier.
Yeah, that's more like it. A breakthrough is more like something positive. So like if you're trying really hard to accomplish something and then suddenly you reach some success, you might say that is a breakthrough.
Okay.
Can we say it is
Mhm.
an improvement?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
An improvement would be a synonym of a breakthrough. Very good. Exactly.
Okay.
A breakthrough could be an improvement, a major milestone, a major goal, or an achievement. Okay, is everybody ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to turn the video on to full screen. I'm going to slow it down a little bit and make sure the closed captions are on. Here we go. So the videos, now it's on the left side of the screen. If you have a delay, I'm going to bring it to full screen now. Here it comes. Okay. Does everybody see the video on full screen? Taking up the whole screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to stop recording. Here we go. All right, everybody. So there's the video. All right. Throw up a hand raising emoji if you have the answer for the first question. What were some of the long lasting effects of smallpox?
Mie kanale idę.
Irina, did you want to give it a shot?
I think that is blindness.
There we go. Good job, Felipe. Yes, so blindness was one of them. Anybody
Yeah.
remember? Did anybody write down any more?
And somebody there. There.
Deep scars.
Very good. So blindness, deep scars. I'll play it again, extra slow here.
Centuries, a deadly disease called smallpox spread among people, causing boils filled with yellow pus to appear all over their bodies. Some people also went blind, and many died.
So boils are kind of these bumps on the skin filled with pus, just nasty stuff. Think of like a giant pimple. They would just
Yeah.
pop
Yellow
up onto
spots.
my skin.
No, it's like pimples.
Say it again, Jorge.
No, I know. I heard about the video. It's like pimples because
Oh yeah, like pimples, yeah. But just kind of really imagine. I know I'm using my own head as as a board, as a whiteboard right here. The light shining on my head. It's like a whiteboard. So imagine a bunch of like bumps just
Yeah, the
popping
one.
up and staying for a long time. So those giant bumps that were called boils, scars, blindness, and death. Very good. Okay. Next question. Who wants to take it? What was Edward Jenner's theory? The theory. Marie, go for it.
He used the milk that was infected with the cowpox.
Not milk,
No.
but you're really close. Milk was not involved.
He injected, he gave it to some people.
Okay, that was part of it, but that was part of his experiment was the injection.
Mhm.
But what was his theory? A theory is like an idea,
Yeah.
and he wants to prove it. What is it that he wanted to prove? What was it that he tried to prove?
To prove that he can, with the other infection from the cow or pig.
You're getting really close. Does anybody want to
Yes.
pick up where Marie left off? Anybody want to try it?
Development of vaccines.
Say it again, Jean-Ville.
Development of vaccines.
Well, his experiment would eventually lead to that, but that's not the question. The question is, what was Edward Jenner's theory? That means he
Okay.
has this idea that he has to prove with experiments. What was the idea, the theory?
Okay.
This maybe the material from cow box very similar to this small box and create.
That's pretty close. Yeah. So if you take what Irina just said and then mix it with what Marie just said, you've got it perfectly. So he wanted to prove that if you took this disease called cowpox and gave it to people, they would become immune to the really bad one, smallpox. Now, Marie mentioned milk. The reason why milk was involved is that I'm holding up my hands right now. Who can tell me what I'm doing?
Chicken?
No, I know I sound like a chicken, but what am I doing with
Okay.
my hands?
I don't know how to say that, but yeah.
Pumping.
Oh, driving?
Not driving.
Taking the milk from the cow.
I'm milking a cow. I'm milking a cow.
Ah,
So
okay. Pop,
yeah.
pop the.
This is where cows are involved. The word
Oh.
vaccine comes from the Latin word for cow for this particular reason, milking a cow. So
milking cows.
milking a cow. So, and this is what Jean-Ville was talking about, the eventual development of vaccines. So here's what a farmer noticed. So a farmer, what was his name? Benjamin Gestit. He observed, wait a minute, there are all these women who milk cows on his farm, and they started getting all those marks on their hands, those pussy, nasty boils on their hands. and they would get a little bit sick and then they'd be okay. And then they would never get really sick. So he noticed this pattern. These people who worked with the cows, touching the cows with their hands, they would get those same marks on their hands, and then they seemed to be okay. So his employees, he would just make sure they got a little bit of that virus that the cows were giving. And then they never got smallpox, they never went blind, they never died. And essentially, this sounds pretty dangerous, but the doctor, Edward Jenner, took a look at that and said, wait a minute, what if we tried this, giving people just a little tiny bit of the disease and then seeing if that would help people fight the disease later? And here it comes, Edward Jenner's theory. I'm going to make sure it's really slow.
Them all with cowpox, and it worked. None of them the same way. Somehow, the cowpox itself and the milkmaids who had previously been infected. The interesting thing was that he himself and the milkmaids who had previously been infected with cowpox never got the horrible smallpox. Somehow, the cowpox infection protected them. This observation inspired Justy to try and protect his family in the same way. He infected them all with cowpox, and it worked. None of them ever developed smallpox. A few years later, a doctor named Edward Jenner built on Justy's discovery. He wanted to prove the theory that getting cowpox could protect a person from smallpox.
So that's it right there. I just slowed it all
Yes.
down. So the theory is, wait a minute, Benjamin Justice protected his family by making sure they all got this disease from the cow. They never got the really bad one that could kill you. And then the doctor, Edward Jenner, says, wait a minute, what if we tried to do that in a laboratory and maybe I could prove that it worked? So give people a disease in order to stop a disease. And so this seemed like, at the time, it seemed like a crazy idea. So one way to describe this, it's been written about in this way, but as an English teacher, it's a really beautiful bit of language. I'd like to get a volunteer to read what I'm going to write on the screen.
You wanted to prove the theory that now? Okay.
Oh, hold on a second. Okay. Who can read this for me?
A disease
becomes the cure. Becomes
Yeah.
the cure.
Essentially, that's what happens, but what does that really mean?
The cure means treated.
Yeah. The medicine.
Like they use a disease to create a anticore.
Say it again, Lamarana.
They use a disease
Mm-hmm.
as an anticore.
Anti what?
Oh, sorry, it is antibody, not anticore, antibody. Or yes, I think it's antibody.
Well, they weren't using antibodies, like an antibiotic. Like basically, if we get a really bad cold and we get antibiotics, that's considered a cure. Like you have a bad cough, you'll go get some antibiotics. to kill the germs.
Mm-hmm.
But you would never, your doctor usually wouldn't give you germs to fight germs. How could the
Okay.
disease stop the disease itself? It seemed almost crazy. That was Jenner's theory.
You know, even during the COVID-19, they used like the COVID to build the vaccine.
That's correct. That's exactly what a vaccine is. This
Yeah.
is the early vaccines from the 19th century that we're learning about.
Mm.
So, does everybody remember the name of the song that I showed you last week? The name of the song was History Repeating. So what Lamarana was noticing, he said, wait a minute, this is really similar to when people were developing a COVID vaccine. That's absolutely correct. The smallpox, the development of the smallpox vaccine was essentially the same idea, but it wasn't as advanced and as certainly not as fast. But that was his theory. Could small amounts of this cowpox stop smallpox? Now, fast forward over 100 years. Look in your notes. Where's question number 3? Who's got it? I'll minimize the screen here. Okay. What was a major breakthrough in 1980?
Eradication of smallpox.
Very good. Very good. Excellent job, Jeanville. What does it mean to eradicate? What am I doing with my hands?
Eradicate.
Is to
I can say
kill or to kill the
Yeah, eradicate. Basically, it's gone. So for a generation, it's very hard to find anyone alive today who has had smallpox. So it became this very common disease that was killing people, and then more than 100 years later, nearly eradicated, seems like it's gone forever. So that was the long-term breakthrough. It was a crazy idea in the 19th century, gradually transformed the world. So now let's take a look at the reading, The Invisible Enemy. So I'm glad we did the listening before the reading. I'm going to go back to those of you who've taken a level 4 class at El Centro, you might have read this once before, but it'll be a nice review. So here we are. We can do a round robin style of reading for this one. Okay, there it is. And remember to use don't just shout your name. Don't say me, teacher, me. Use your hand raising emoji so I can call your names. All right. So here it is, The Invisible Enemy. I'll make it nice and big. Lamarana, you can read first, absolutely. Make it nice and big for everybody. Okay.
Okay.
Go for it.
From 1 or okay, perfect.
Yep, from paragraph 1.
1.
Actually, hold on a second. I just realized I need to give everybody vocabulary. I forgot.
Okay.
I knew I was missing a step. Hold on. Sorry. All right. I'm missing one step. Everybody, I got to teach you some vocab first. I got to teach you some vocab. Hold on. Be real quick. Some of this you already know. Hang on one second. There it is. Okay. All right. Everybody quickly follow my pronunciation. Here we go. You can see my mouth on the screen. Here we go. Contract. Decimating.
Decimating.
Immunity.
Immunity.
Infected.
Infected.
Ravaged.
Ravage.
Procedure.
Procedure.
Virulent.
Virulent.
Acquired. Livelihoods.
Livelihoods.
Revered.
Revered.
Banned.
Banned.
Compulsory.
Compulsory.
Eradicate.
Eradicate.
Principles.
Principles.
Plague.
Plague.
All right, so many of these you already know. Who can identify a few words you already know? One we just actually went over a minute ago.
Contract.
Contract.
Infected.
Yeah, contract.
Decimating.
Immunity.
Immunity.
Contract. There's a contract is a noun, like a document that you sign, an agreement. And there's a verb to contract. To contract.
Teacher, contract means to getting the
It could be destroy. Destroy.
Well, to contract really means to engage with something.
But in this context, teacher, I think it is
This one,
to
in this
be
context.
infected.
That is correct. It
To be
means
infected.
infected, which means to engage with.
Medical.
Take a look at what I'm doing with my
This
hands.
one.
Contracting smallpox.
Yeah.
It means to fully engage with, to interact with. To contract the verb rather than a contract like a written document or verbal agreement. All right. What's another word we already know?
Immunity.
Decimating.
Let's start with decimating.
Decimating.
And immunity or community? Immunity. What is immunity, Marie?
Immunity. You are free from getting the disease.
Yeah, you are immune. You're
Mhm.
immune. Exactly. Contract. Immunity.
infected. Teacher, livelihoods.
Hold on. Let's start. Infected. What is infected?
Infected is
To be sick.
when you
Yeah.
attack a disease.
Contagious.
Yeah.
Maybe you were infected to COVID-19.
Exactly.
Um,
So infected
COVID-19.
and contracting something in this context, they're pretty much synonymous. Good.
But teacher, in this
yeah.
case, if infected mean to have the disease or to be attacked by the virus, if there is a virus.
Correct. Yeah. To contract the disease, to be infected by the disease, they would be synonymous. Correct. Who said livelihoods? Let's go after this one.
I don't know this one.
Okay. Anybody want to try?
What?
Livelihoods. Anybody
Like
heard this one?
people living the same life.
Well, let's take a look at LIVE. Lively.
Livelihood is the agriculture. Maybe some people.
I'll give you an
And
example. Teaching is my livelihood. What does that mean?
Your profession.
You are doing for a
Profession.
living.
Correct. Your
Yeah.
livelihood
Yeah.
is your profession. What you do for a living.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
Sandy, you can say, I turn a wrench because that's my livelihood. I repair engines. That is my livelihood. McLean, you could say, I listen to people. That is my
Yeah,
livelihood.
listen to people.
Right. So if we describe what we do in our work, our profession, that's what our livelihoods are.
Listen and smile to people too.
And smile. You smile at every one of us every Monday night. Let's any more words that we already know?
Acquired
Bend.
Acquired. What is acquired, Maria?
Bend. Oh.
is
To acquire.
It's earn.
is that infected?
Pretty similar, in fact. I never
Yes.
actually thought about that, but you're right. Well, to acquire means like to gain. Infected usually has a negative context, but you can use the word acquire, but you usually would use the word acquire like learning something new. I've acquired a new
Yeah.
skill.
Acquire something.
I've learned to play the guitar, learned a new language. I acquired
Acquired.
something.
It could be obtain, teacher. Obtain.
Obtain. There you go. That's a synonym of acquired. Very good. So to acquire is to obtain. Very good. We just went over this word. What is this word? Eradicate. What's that?
Eliminate.
Terminate.
Terminate.
Eliminate. To get rid of.
Eliminate.
Eradicate. Very
Eliminate.
good. I think there's some more words we already know here. What's this word?
Compulsory.
Bend.
Bend.
I think
What am I doing with my hands now?
Stop.
Prohibit.
Yeah, to stop. To ban something. It's not allowed. This is banned.
Forbidden.
Forbidden. Exactly.
Yeah.
Forbidden.
Ravage. I know ravage.
Ravage. That's a great one.
Wow.
Jeanville, what do you think ravage means?
Destructive.
Restriction.
Destructive.
Destructive. Yeah, something destroyed, torn apart, ravaged. Very good. Ravaged is actually a synonym of decimated. Decimating. That's pretty similar. To decimate, to destroy, ravage. Very good.
Get a good image.
There you go. Now here is what's this word right here?
Plague.
Yeah. What's the plague? I'm gonna give I'm gonna send everybody a I'm gonna give everybody just a quick little definition of something. It's gonna be interesting in a moment. Here we go. All right. Hang on one second.
yeah, maybe it's a name of another disease, right?
It is. I'm sending everybody a little link real quick.
This is a bacteria.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Yep. It had several names, but I'm trying to find a quick definition for everybody. It is actually it's one of the reasons, depending on what culture you're coming from, we say God bless you if you are sneezing. Okay, here it is.
Teacher, this word is correct. Principles is it's not missing something.
No, okay, here it is. Here it is. Okay, all right. Sending this to everybody right now. It's taking a moment. Okay, got it. Okay, this is in the Middle Ages in the 1500s. Here we go. This you don't have to read this whole thing, but just read the general information. Okay, everybody, take a look at the WhatsApp group. Okay. So the title, it says, who could read the title in the WhatsApp group that I just sent to you? The greatest. So the dates are roughly this period. And I'm being pretty loose, but across most of Western Europe, people suffered from something called the plague, also known as Black Death. It was a serious virus people would catch and oftentimes be overcome with a disease their body couldn't fight, and they would die. And in England, people started saying, when if you sneezed, achoo, people would start saying, bless you, God bless you, because people didn't know that there was germ theory, the ideas of sanitation, all of these things that we know now. So people thought that there was something that they immediately need to be blessed by God. If there was, what sneezing is, it's your body pushing air out of your lungs because you have some dust in your nose. But at the time, people would say, oh, bless you. And in many other languages, many other cultures that experience this, they have some kind of custom to your health or some kind of recognition that you need some external force to keep you safe if you were getting sick. This goes all the way back to the plagues of the Middle Ages. And this is going to come up in the reading shortly. But how many people, we do have a lot of people from Haiti and the Dominican Republic. For friends from the island of Hispaniola, who were these people? It's good. This is a quiz. It's going to come up in a minute. Friends from Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Who are these people?
Me, teacher.
Yes, go for it. Sandy, who are the Taino? Who are the Taino?
Who's the person living before Columbus go to the Islam?
Exactly. So yes, the first location where Columbus arrived, the first point of contact between Europe and the indigenous people of this continent was the island of Hispaniola, which is now Haiti and the Dominican Republic. The original people there were the Taino. So the Taino had not ever come in contact with people who had the plague. So Europeans had germs, and the rest is history. That's going to come up in the next article. Hang on one second. Hold on one moment. Hang on. I got it. Let's see. Helenice.
Hi, teacher.
Hi. Tell everybody, who are these people?
Sorry, teacher, can you repeat?
Oh, who are these people?
I don't see, teacher. I just see the vocab.
Oh, okay. It must be a delay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. The Amanye. I can't probably pronouncing it wrong. Okay, never mind. It's gonna come up in a minute.
Yeah, I know, because I see the vocab and I don't
Okay.
see anything.
Essentially, indigenous people of the Americas, when coming in contact with Europeans, did not have antibodies to fight the plague, which Europeans had already had. That's going to come up in the story in a minute. Revered is to be distinguished. Someone is revered, they're considered special. Who knows what the word compulsory means? What is compulsory?
Compulsory, mandatory.
Mandatory, very good. Compulsory is mandatory. Principles.
Main,
Okay, Lamarana, yep.
like main activity, principal.
Yeah, primary, main activity, the principal activity. Very good. Okay, so that's enough vocabulary. Let's go back to the story, and it's all going to make sense. Here it comes. All right, now let's take a turn. Okay, Judith, you're definitely ready to read. Lamarana was going to read the first paragraph. Judith, you could read the second paragraph. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, bringing it back up on my screen. There might be a delay. Here we go. Okay. Now that we went over the vocab, here it comes. Okay. Make this nice and big for everyone. Okay. Take it away, Lamarana.
Okay. An ancient and deadly enemy for almost 10,000 years, smallpox killed millions of human beings all over the world. During epidemics from
50.
From 50 to 60% of the population will contract the disease, and 20 to 30% of its victims will die.
Very good. All right. Okay, Judith, take it away.
In the 16th century, Spanish conquerors brought smallpox to the Americas, decimating most of the native population because they had never been exposed to the disease before and had to immunity. More Native Americans died of smallpox than died in battle with white settlers. In the 18th century, the British deliberately infected Native Americans with smallpox during the French and Indian War.
Very good. All right. So, Sandy, this is why I mentioned the Taino. So, if we look at patterns, and why I was trying to name indigenous tribes in Brazil as well. So if we look at patterns, the Taino were the native people of the Caribbean islands, following Columbus, Spanish conquistadors who arrived were able to very quickly conquer those territories, largely because they had germs from surviving the plague, and indigenous people of this part of the world did not, so they quickly died. Same thing with if we look at South America, if we look at the Incan Empire, very powerful civilization. Conquistador Pizarro was able to conquer the Incan Empire after the course of about a year and a half, largely because of the Europeans had germs. Same thing with Cortez. It took him about a year as well. Most of the Aztec Empire were able to be defeated because of the germs. So much of this, the idea of germs being weaponized, it's nothing new. And it's largely what shaped the continent we live in today. So that's why I was asking. Sandy,
Yeah,
good job.
teacher.
You could identify the Taino. Well done.
Sarava.
Okay. You want to keep going, Marie?
London.
In
In London, death claimed 80% of the children under 5 years old who caught the disease. In Berlin, 90%, 1/3 of those who survived smallpox went blind. Spread by contact through the air, the disease ravaged every class of society. It caused a rash and blisters on the skin.
Yeah. Blisters, I'm sorry.
Blister on the skin that left its survivors scared for life. Queen Elizabeth I, Mozart,
First, yeah.
and George Washington all knew the suffering it brought.
Yep. Mozart, Queen Elizabeth I, and George Washington.
Mhm.
Very good. So that's how common smallpox was. Paragraph 3, who wants to read?
Me, teacher.
Okay, take it away.
Okay.
Safayu, yeah.
Over the century, human begin gained knowledge of the spotless. Most from one thing, they learned that survivors never cope to the disease again. From this observation of natural immunity came the practice of variolation. Variolation probably began in China and India in the early 18th century. Legendary Worsley Mountain observed it used in Turkey. It used in Turkey, where her husband was ambassador. She brought the practice to England. In 1721, through a small coat, the piece from a smallpox blister in placed under the skin. This caused a low-grade. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Low-grade smallpox infection.
Small infection if the disease does.
We can switch to a new reader. That was a very, very long paragraph. A lot of people had their hands raised. Let's go to Rosanna, go for it. Not develop.
Not develop and further the person will get well and be immune ever after. It was a dangerous procedure because the virus was not always weak enough and those who were virulent could start epidemic. Nevertheless, the process was usually successful, probably because in variolation the disease entered the body through the skin rather than through the lungs and was thus less virulent. Although only about 2% of variolation patients died, it was still too many.
Very good. Now here's an image of Edward Jenner vaccinating a child, a very early vaccine. Okay, let's get who had their hands raised, who wanted to read. Let's hear from Jorge. Go for it, Jorge. Edward
Me,
Jenner.
teacher.
Jorge, you had your hand up, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
here.
Go
Oh,
for it, Jorge.
it's me, teacher.
No,
Edward
Jorge,
Jenner
don't
in
worry. Okay,
English.
Jeanville, you can read next. Go for it, Jorge.
Edward Jenner, an English country doctor. Her stories about fair workers who had contracted cowpox, a mild infection of animals, and then never got smallpox. Jenner became known not because he discovered the complex smallpox connection. Many farmers knew this from observation, but because he investigated it significantly improved in showing the world how they benefit from it. Following the principles of his teacher who said, "Don't think, try," he set up experiments with various children, including eventually his own.
Here we go. His own son.
His own son.
Very good. Jeanville, you can take it from here. Jeanville, he introduced
Okay.
them.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, he inoculated them.
Yes, he inoculated them with cowpox and then proved that they no longer reacted when violated with smallpox. The children had acquired coarse immunity. He called his prevention method a vaccine, from the Latin for cow. He sent his findings to the British Medical Association in 1797, but they refused to publish his revolutionary views without more proof. Violators who were afraid to lose their livelihoods argued against him. Cartoonists showed patients growing cows' heads after getting vaccinated, but when other doctors and scientists repeated his experiments and found that he was right, Jenner became a hero. In France, Jenner was so revered that on his request, the French Emperor Napoleon freed some British prisoners of war, saying, "Ah, Jenner, I can refuse him nothing."
Very good, very good. All right. Okay. Let's see. Paragraph 5. Let's hear from Felipe. Take it away.
Okay.
In
In
18
1840, variolation was banned in Britain, and in 1853, universal vaccination became compulsory in England and Wales. More than a century later, however, 15 million people in the world were still getting the disease every year, and 2 million were dying from it. In 1967, the United Nations World Health Organization began a global campaign to eradicate smallpox with free vaccine. The last known natural case of smallpox was in Somalia in 1977. In 1980, thanks to Edward Jenner's work and to all the microbe hunters fighting humanity's invisible enemies, the World Health Assembly officially declared the world and its peoples free from smallpox. Today, the smallpox virus exists only in the laboratories. These discoveries of the past remain the hope of the future for other diseases that plague mankind.
mankind. Very good. Excellent job, everybody. So we're gonna start cutting it close. Usually I don't have to ask, but I will ask. Okay. I'm gonna write this in the chat. And I think I already know what the answer is going to be, but I'm just gonna write this in the chat real quick. Okay, here we go. Okay, question in the chat. Okay. I think I know what the answer is going to be. Thank you, McLean. Irina's laughing. She knows. She's like, yeah, of course. Okay, everybody who has answered has said skip the break and keep going. All right. Does anybody need to take a break? You need to step away from your screen, grab something to drink. Do it now. Go ahead. Okay, let's keep going. Skip the break. Keep going. All right. So, all right, everybody says skip the break. We don't want to break. Just keep going. That's fine. All right. Now I'm going to send everyone into breakout rooms for a discussion. All right, here is the topic for discussion. First, I'm going to fill in slide there. Okay. Okay, so what did we learn on Wednesday? That was a major outbreak that we have seen before that's becoming a big problem in America. What did we learn? Starts with an M. Wednesday's assignment.
Measles.
Measles, there we go. So measles is becoming a big, big problem in the United States. Who remembers why?
Because of lack of vaccination.
Correct. Excellent. All right. So the question is, what would Edward Jenner say if he were alive today? I'm going to pause the recording here. Okay. Does everybody understand the question for breakout rooms? There's the question. Everybody understands? Understand it or not, I'm sending you to breakout rooms. Here we go. Okay, join your breakout rooms now.
One minute, Chair. I didn't finish to take the question.
I'll write it in a message to everybody. Okay, Sophia, Judith, you can join your breakout room. Go ahead.
This morning.
everybody. We can wrap up class for tonight. So here are the next two assignments for Wednesday. Here it is. This is an engine exercise and it's titled Gold Prices. So there's some interesting vocabulary for anybody who's still getting used to using InGen. For instance, Rosanna, you did it for the first time today. Always start with the vocabulary down here in the bottom middle. Learn the vocabulary words first, and then complete the exercise. We'll go over it next week. And then for Friday, it's a very, very short writing assignment based on the breakout room discussion tonight. Some people had ideas to share. Other people were a little bit quiet and thinking. Don't worry, you have plenty of time. So after reading The Invisible Enemy, this is the essay that we read tonight. Here is the worksheet. Very, very simple. Okay. And you have a link to the video we just watched right there. After reading The Invisible Enemy, answer the question below. If Edward Jenner were alive today, what would he say about the recent outbreak of measles in the US? And there's a map showing the recent outbreak of measles, discussed below in 35 to 60 words. So very short writing activity and very short reading and listening activity. That will be it. Okay, that'll keep you busy this week. Any questions? Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
a good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
Teacher,
teacher.
everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
If trends continue,